Hi again, guys. After making the video on how to make these, pretty much got an instant response on. Come on, computer, you slow thing. Got a request to actually show you guys how to make this green bubble thing that's around the outside with the name inside of it. So yeah, I'll do that now for you. First thing we want to do is we want to get our rectangle again. We actually want to make a rectangle, so about that, and obviously have it as a metallic colour for the first one, so not too dark because we're going to be putting a bevel on it. Next thing we want to do is we're going to get our circular ellipse tool and just scale a circle up and drop it into place. Scale it until it matches up with the edge of this rectangle, like so. And now, ooh, that doesn't match up, does it? It will do. Don't worry if you're like me and you can't get it perfect, because it doesn't matter too much. Well, it does, but this is just a demonstration, so you guys can play with this as much as you like and get it as perfect as you want it. But there we have our sort of like, I don't know what we can call it, plaster sort of effect. And then we just want to merge these layers together. Oh crap, I think we can merge the background with it. Merge layers, and then we just want to change the height of this, like so. And now we have our sort of nice thing ready to bevel. But before we bevel it, we want to make a duplicate of that, because that's going to be the green sort of fill. And the next thing we want to do is we want to do a bevel and emboss, and we want to give it a nice sort of 3D effect on the top. So what I did was I set my bevel to have a pretty good depth, quite a nice size, not much softness, and I did a chisel hard, I think it was, or was it a chisel soft? It was one of those two. And my position was 90 degrees, and that's wrong because I got it right in the centre. I think it's more like that. Just play with that until you get it how you like it, but this will do for tutorial purposes. You can play with these down here to change your highlight colour. So obviously if you want it to be lighter, you'll make this lighter like so, and then if you want to bring the highlights out on the top, you just move this to 100%, and you can even change it to normal, post to screen, and that will give you a better effect and overall. Let's see what we want to do. Bring your other layer back on, and you just want to shrink this down. And to make it easier to see what you're actually doing, we're going to change the fill of this to green, or red, because the other thing was red that I just made. So let's do it in red. That looks yucky. Bit wider, bit narrower, and you're set. Just line it up for where you want it, and I don't know. Look at this. Bring in the slice a bit more. Right. So, oh my god, this one must have been really tall. More like that, probably. Oh my god, why is it so big? Right, sorry that took so long, but as you can see, we've got this part. Now, as I was saying in the other one, in the tutorial before, do the convert to smart object and rasterize the layer, and now you can apply a bevel to this shape. So we'll go bevel and emboss again, and we want it pretty close to here, so you get a nice sort of more 3D shape when we move the bevel up, the depth up, sorry. And we want it to sort of give us the effect of like almost like there's a bubble in there. So up that. Oh my god, this is looking awful. Did I chisel this? No, I did do smooth, didn't I? Maybe change this to more of a, that's it. Change that to more of a darkish red, like more to your colour sort of spectrum. And then this will just bring up the highlights. And now you've got sort of like the 3D bubbly thing. But that doesn't look good enough yet, does it? So what we're going to do is control and click again, get our paintbrush, and we're going to select our standard red that we have at the moment. Now we're going to begin the highlighting. So what I'm going to do is make a new layer so I don't affect this bottom one. And I'm going to start painting over the top. So I have it darker at the bottom, and obviously as you come up it's going to get lighter because that's how it's going to work. And what we're going to do is add some sort of highlights to where it's going to be at its lightest point. So at the top here we'd expect it to be a lot lighter. Now we're just going to reduce the opacity so it blends better with the other one, and we're going to do a filter, blur and a Gaussian blur just to sort of mix everything together. And then in here we can do adjustments and the curves, and we can bring this out even more. Let's add that little bit more depth into it. And then what we can do further after that is we can get our burn tool and just burn in the areas where it would be darker. You can even increase the exposure for this if you want. I'm going to in this example. I'm not normally a fan of having a really dark exposure, but in some cases it actually does justice to the work. So yeah, let's just increase the brightness in places as well with the dodge tool, like on this highlight spot. And then we're pretty much set to add the text in. So I'm just going to do something really basic on this one, and I'm just going to type my name when this works. And I'm just going to bang it in different font. That'll do. Have your font sort of in any way you like it really. Any sort of colour, it doesn't matter, because when you put it behind this layer and you drop the opacity further, your text will show through with a sort of gradient map over the top of it. And if you want to make it stand out that extra little bit more, what I normally do is just add a black outer glow, and it gives the edges a little bit more hardness. And yeah, that's it. That's another basic tutorial from me, guys. What I did in the one I did for Tomcat is I did actually I did put bubbles in it to match the sort of theme. But yeah, I'll put this over now really quickly. That is huge. But yeah, as you can see, it's being retarded. Yeah, so as you can see, it links up quite nicely. It looks 3D. Doesn't look as good as the old one because I didn't spend as much time on it. But when you've added those bubbles in, it will make it look a little nicer. When you've done a few more sort of highlights on the edge with the dodge tool, or maybe done like a white overlay with the brush, then you'll get a lot more of a 3D effect. Just make sure you have some sort of understanding of shading and where like sort of high points and mid points are the light, and then you can just darken it and brighten it in spaces where you want to, and then you get a nice 3D output. But for a quick tutorial, I'm pretty happy with that, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. When I get back from holiday, I am going to buy a better microphone because I'm aware that this one's crap. And